And we're back to Keep It Real with Tiff and Carl, and we just went through our 2024. Now we're going to look ahead and think about what's in store for 2025 and what are some things that we can start to think about and how to get ready for those. So, looking at that list of questions that we had before, you see the first few were up on for 2024. So 2025, the first one. So let me ask you, Tiff, what do you want your life to be like at this time next year?
I will have the souls of many offenders. No, I'm just joking. Um, Next year, around this time next year, um, I would like my life to be somewhat the same, but I'm hoping like 30 pounds lighter. And also, I will be finishing up one of my two books that I'm going to be writing.
Hmm.
So this time next year, hopefully, I'll be putting the spitting last touches on my first book.
Any
And
idea
then
on the first book?
I have two books, but I can't tell you. I don't want anybody to steal my idea. I
Yeah.
forgot to mention gratitude. One person that I'm really grateful for, and you happened to go to a Babyface concert with her, which I'm allowing. I'm allowing it since she's friends with your wife and all. But my bestie Kristen is like one of the major players in my life, even if it's just through Instagram memes. But she's somebody that I talk to almost every single day, and we bounce ridiculous ideas off of each other. And I love that space with her because I can be completely creative and nonsensical, and she gets it. And so, her and I just in sending each other some me. It all started. Let me just tell you. Remember, a 90-day fiance. Well, they have right now the couples retreat, the last resort. It's like for couples who are struggling. It's like this 3 week therapeutic thing that they go to, but it's shenanigans. But one of the characters, her name is Jasmine, and she was describing one of the other cast members, and she said, he has the personality of a fart. Like nobody wants to hang around with him. And that was like the funniest thing I had ever heard in my life. Like I laughed about that like the rest of the night. And then I like fell asleep when I woke up and I was still laughing about the personality of a fart. It just was hilarious to me. And so my friend and I started like sending each other insults. And so we came up with a book idea, and I already have a title. The title is going to be called Roasts. Roasts. But I can't tell you the rest of it because it's going to be a surprise. Surprise. So look forward to Roasts coming to you the end of 2025. My other book idea that I have, and I've had this idea for a long time, but never the commitment to actually do it. Um, it's a working title, but it's pretty solid. But it's going to be called Don't Be a Bitch. How to survive the 21st century workplace. And so it's going to be like a survival guide to, how to be at work with a little fun, little sassy twist on it. And so we're going to play on the word bitch a little bit in all of the ways, like being a mean person and being a sissy la la crybaby. So we're going to really go with that. But that'll come out. That one will probably take a little bit more time because I actually want to put some research and have some evidence-based practices in it, just not my Tiffanyisms. Um, but roasts is gonna be amazing. So I'll be an author by this time next year. That's my plan. Published author. What about you, Carl? Where do you want to be this time next year?
Um, well, two things. First, I want to be an author as well, and so I'm working on a couple of the classes that we teach. I think it might be something that could be just even I think an 8 hour class could be, 100-page book, right? Very easily,
Okay. Yeah.
And so thinking about how to, and there's a few classes I have in mind that I think could be really helpful just to put down, right? And all the wisdom from people that I share and the lessons I've learned in those situations. And then the other thing is to be an ACC accredited coach like my friend Tiffany Salcido. So you know, well, we'll see. Those are goals.
I gotta pass the test first.
I thought you took the test already.
I did take the test, but I didn't pass it. I was off by one question. And
Stop.
you know what? It was my fault. I've never, by the way, I've never failed a test in my entire life. Never, ever, ever. Never failed a test in my entire life. And I was way too ambitious for like this test. And I didn't study. And I like literally got home on a Friday night and I took it Saturday morning as I was about to leave for somewhere else. And so I literally scheduled this really important test in a 2 hour window before I had to be somewhere else. And I missed by one question, but I cried. Can I tell you? I really cried, like tears. I was so embarrassed and disappointed in myself because again, I don't know what failure feels like.
Mhm.
And I turned that into I probably should study. I mean I took the class. I took the class over a year ago. It's been a year and a half. I will say this. The part that I did pass, there's three parts of it, and I failed one of the three parts. And so the part that I failed um was something that I should know, but it wasn't part of the practice. It was part of like the organization, and I didn't study enough like the organization part of it. I just did the work part. So I passed the work part. So I'm still a good coach, but just not a great ICF coach because I didn't study enough on their framework and I needed to know more about that. But it was a good lesson learned. It was an expensive lesson learned because I get to retake it. I just had to pay for it again. So I'm gonna retake it, but I'm gonna retake it like not as just like an appointment in between things. Like I'm really gonna focus some time and energy on it. I didn't want to tell people I failed that test because nobody I know has failed it, but I did. But I was overconfident and I didn't study, and that was a good lesson learned for me.
That ought to
So,
tell you. I mean, I don't think you failed the test. I think the test failed you.
so I'm gonna say I
Yeah.
failed the test because I should have studied and I should have been more familiar, and that was 100% my fault. So,
That's a
it's
good,
okay.
no, that's a good lesson learned for me because
Yes.
if you failed the test, then that means I really probably should study it. So, all right.
Get familiar with the code of ethics. Get familiar with the code of ethics. And that was where I wasn't as familiar as I should be with the lingo and the like I'm ethical. Don't my friends don't think I'm not ethical, but I did not do good there and I will do better next time. So you're the first people besides the people that were in my house when was crying when I failed the test that I told that I failed the test. So vulnerable, vulnerable. But I'm gonna pass it next time. I think I'm gonna try to retake it this week. So um I've been studying. I've been consistently studying. So I hope that you are an ACC coach this time next year too. I hope you're a PCC coach next year. How about that? Can I make a bigger one for you?
Sure, but I don't know
I
if I
hope
have
you
time for
PCC
500
coach.
hours. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, ACC on the way to PCC. How about that?
ACC, then I'll get to SEC and then the Big Ten
You down
and
with? Yeah.
Pac-12 might be back by that year. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So yeah.
You down with MPP? Yeah. You know
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah. You mean MCC? Yeah.
I'll try to
Cool.
get it together. We'll try to get it together.
Cool. What's a bad habit do you want to get rid of?
TikTok. TikTok. That's it. Full stop. End of sentence. TikTok. I love TikTok so much and I spend way too much time on it. I can get like yesterday. So here in Mexico, we don't have a TV. I mean, we have a couple of TVs, but we don't have any TV service. We don't streaming services. We don't have anything. And so we don't watch TV here, which is great. And so we try to spend most of our time like outdoors or out doing stuff. But yesterday we were both feeling a little under the weather due to hanging out with the Canadians. not being prepared, not being prepared for the level of debauchery that Canadians have. So we just sat around all day, and I was on TikTok from. I had to charge my phone at least one time during the day yesterday because my battery was dead because I watched so much TikTok.
That is
Um,
anxiety filled. And when my phone's below 80%, the light flashes in the back of my head just little by little. When it gets to 30, it's like right,
Oh,
it's
you would
ridiculous.
have been dying because I was down to like 11%, and then I plugged it in and I made pizzelles. I don't know if you know what a pizzelle is, but it's a little Italian wafer cookie. But I plugged it in and I made a batch of pizzelles real fast, and then by the time that I was done with the pizzelles, I was charged back up to 70 something, and I sat right back down and um, got it all the way down again. I did nothing yesterday but consume content. Well, I'm trying to get it all in before it's outlawed in the United States. It's supposed to be illegal soon. I still got TikTok in Mexico, so I'm gonna be all right when
Oh, oh, see,
TikTok. But yeah, that's a bad habit. I'd like to spend less time consuming content and more time making content. So making content for my books or making content for classes or doing something productive. But I learn a lot on TikTok. I don't want to call it brain rot because there are a lot of like I learn a lot on there, and there's I love getting different perspectives and hearing from people's different takes on things, and so I learn a lot on TikTok, and I also spend way too much time there. So, what about you, Carl? What do you want to give up in 2025? Bad
um,
habit to.
well, I've already given up TikTok, so
Oh,
I deleted it last year. It was taking too much time, and
yeah.
so, um, but I want to be smarter with my time, and I think probably the best way that I can be smarter with my time is to limit. So not necessarily give up, but limit my um my my phone usage, right?
Good.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, there's things that I have to look at. I mean, my work stuff is on my phone, right? And everything else like that. Um, but there's sometimes I'm just doom scrolling and I need to back away from that, right? And also, completely. I mean, when I'm teaching a class, I don't have my TV on, but when I'm working, I'll have the TV on in the background, even without sound. And
Yeah.
I'm going to have it off. If I'm working from home, the TV is not going to be on until I'm done. I can listen to podcasts and everything else like that. But when it comes to any of those unmindfulness distractions, I think I can be more effective with my time because I really do want to try to have some type of semblance of a 9 to 5. And I think I have much better chance of that when there isn't flashes of touchdowns going past my head, right? So,
Right.
you know, that's where I'm looking forward to, right?
I love it.
And then
Digital disconnection.
yeah,
Digital disconnection.
just
You're absolutely right. It's like you can't ever eliminate it 100%, but I think being more mindful of it, I think is a really smart approach.
yeah. There's a tip I use in my work smarter, not harder class. And it's, just to check your emails and your phone messages periodically through the day. And it's usually for your desk, but I have a desk at home. I can do that too. I can definitely, my phone stays on silent anyway because when I'm teaching, I have it on and I forget to turn it back off, turn it back.
Right.
So I can do that. I can set myself up for periodic, you know, um, checks on mentions or whatever else like that. And, just to be able to be more intentional with, how I use my time with my phone. So yeah. And then one good habit I want to pick up, um, and not that it's something that it's new, but I want to find ways to um, to be more active again. My shoulder's a mess, but I found out what type of mess it was, and I've also um, figured out there's things I can do around it. So I want to, you know, um, maybe play tennis some more. And so the more efficient I am, the more that my time will open up to be able to do some of the things. And I think really the only thing that I want to do that I'm not able to do right now is to be a little more active, more tennis, more racquetball, things like that. I definitely want to do that. I don't think it's going to affect my weight per se. I mean, it's more diet than that. My wife and I are actually we're going to do a carb thing for our New Year's resolution and see how long that lasts. And but the exercise
Statistically,
regimen, yeah,
yeah, okay, statistically to the second Friday in January is National Quitters Day,
yeah,
statistically.
yeah. No, if we
I'm
pass that,
rooting
then we're
for
in
you.
good space.
Yeah.
But also to do that and just to exercise, just to get my sugar back and all those other things. It's just always healthier. I always feel better. I have more energy, and so to be able to do that, not just to depend on caffeine alone. So how about you? What's a good habit you want to pick up?
Oh, for the 45th year consecutively, I also would like to be more active. This is my New Year's resolution almost every year. And some years I'm better than others, but I do want to be outside more. I think not being on TikTok and not being with the TV so much is going to be really helpful in the sense of, being outside and being more active. I can't I can I have tried to be like scheduled with like activity, like, oh, I'm going to work out every day at this time. And that just doesn't work for who I am as a person. I need it to be more organic. And so I think the more that I can remove some of the distractions that keep me from being outside and being moving around, I think we'll be okay. Um, the other thing I want to pick up, I actually have three. So being active, always one. The second one is I want to be on a financial diet. And so one of the good habits that I want to pick up is only buying what I need and not buying anything I don't need. Um, I have an abundance of stuff, like all the stuff. I have stuff that fills two houses, and I still have stuff that I don't know where it's going to go, which place I'm going to keep it in. Um, I have stuff. And I have been really intentional, especially in the last couple of months, of like deleting and unsubscribing from all of the promotional emails that I get from businesses. I don't go to like stores, where I get like the impulse buys. Um, I just really want to get out of the habit of just consuming for the sake of consuming. And my good habit is going to be just to buy what I need to live and make do with what I have. So that's the number two. So move better, spend less. And then my third is to write more. I'm actually a good writer. I can't do math. I can't sing, but I'm with the words. When I actually sit down and put, fingertips to keyboard, I think that I can do good. And I've been wanting to write a book. I had a book. Do you know, Carl? I actually had a book where I had like 18 chapters of like a fiction book, and I scrapped it. I scrapped it. And I had a few people that read it and gave me some feedback, and then I just gave up on the dream. And so um, I think this year I want to write. And I don't know if you've read Atomic Habits. I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
He's a writer, James Clear, and he says just write. Even if you just say, I'm going to write for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, like sit down and write and see what happens. I think that needs to be like part of my daily practice where instead of drinking my coffee and sitting down and scrolling on TikTok for an hour, I can come and drink my coffee and just get some ideas out and jot some things down. It doesn't have to be good, it just has to be. And so that's really the good habit I'd like to pick up is writing.
Cool.
And not on my phone, by the way. Not on my phone because I write things on my phone and that's where they stay forever and always. They never get past the phone. And so I wanted to make it more intentional, putting it in a place where I can do something with it.
Cool. All right. Well, so then, what's something you're really looking forward to this year?
Um, gosh, I don't know.
Actually, let's scrap. Let's just put that one away. Give that one time. So
Yeah,
let's
I'm
think.
like, oh, I don't know.
You had, you said you wanted to financial diet, write more, and
Yeah,
get outside more. So
yeah.
just building off of that, who's going to help you achieve your goals?
It's gonna have to be me, to be honest with you. I'm public enemy number one. When
Mhm.
it comes to me doing the things that I want to do. I have leaned on my husband for a lot of support, and I don't think that's fair to him because he really does try. But as soon as I give him an ounce of pushback, he's like, "Do what you want," you know.
Yeah.
And so when I go to him and be like, "No, I need you to help me be accountable," he's like, "No, I'm not going to fight with you if you don't want to do what you want to do." So I'm not putting that on him this year. And I'm gonna just put it on me. Who am I gonna count on? I'm gonna count on me to do it. And I have people I can reach out to. Like Carl, sorry to say, you might be getting like some manuscripts of like, hey, read this. What do you think? I have my two best friends, and they'll both be getting like, hey, what do you think about this? And give me some feedback. So um, I think my natural social circle that I have, but I think the person that I'm going to count on the most this year is going to be me
Yeah.
because I'm a terrible motivator to me. Like we've talked about this. I'm accountable to everybody but myself. And so this year I'm going to be accountable to me. I'm going to have, remember, I'm in my villain era. I've got to hold myself accountable too. And so I'm going to have some real hard talks with me about doing the stuff I need to do.
I think you're on the right track. I would say I want to be more accountable to myself,
Hmm.
but I also realize, and I know, the stats say when you have somebody else who can support you and hold you
Yeah,
accountable in a positive way, you're going to accomplish your goals more. So I have to make myself more available to those people who want to help me.
right.
Because if someone is holding me accountable and I give them an excuse or I snap back or I get moody, then if that was me, if I'm like that with my wife and I say, and she gives me shit, hey, go ahead, do it. I need to be more I need to be more open. Hey, are you sure you want that Oreo? No, you're right. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. I have to be accountable for that because if
Yeah,
I expect other people to help me, I can't be the biggest barrier to them helping me. You understand what I'm saying?
right.
The fucking that
Yep,
pardon me. The fucking cookie should be the biggest barrier, not Carl.
right,
Does that make sense? So
right.
I would think if your husband is down to be there for you, if you make it more available for him to be able to do that, if you receive that accountability, I think it'll work better for you. That's where I'm going with it.
I'm
So
going to think about that. Let me process that a little
yeah,
bit because I like that
yeah,
spin.
yeah. Because
You,
I'm not going to give my wife any well, I haven't had one in 6 months. No, no, no. You're right, babe. I said I wasn't gonna. We said no carbs. She did that to me yesterday. I said, how about, because she's been talking about to get back on a diet, blah, blah, blah. I said, why don't we go low carb for New Year's? Right. So
Mhm.
not totally no carbs, but just we're not no bread, no cookies, no grits, no grains, nothing like that. And and I told her it's, protein because she's stuck on protein, right? Protein, eggs, butter, those type of things. We can do that. And I said, how about we start New Year's? She said, okay, so New Year's Day. I said, well, New Year's morning, we should have breakfast. She goes, no, if we're going to start New Year's, let's start New Year's. I said, I'm there with you.
Right.
Right. So she stuck to that. Cool. We're not in the process. Right. So we're not at that second weekend in January yet. So I need for her to feel like her helping me be accountable is productive for us. And
Yeah.
it's not going to end up being a bad day or a missed day or the day we have to ourselves going to be shitty because she told me I can't have that Cinnabon. I don't like Cinnabon
Right.
anyway; they're too sweet. But you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No,
You
I
know,
do. I do get
we
it.
go past our favorite donut shop. I'm okay with not getting the fritter. Just keep pushing, right? And that's a bad habit I've had. And I recognize um, a real bad habit is I feel like whenever we go out, I have to stop and get something, whether it's a soda or something small.
Hmm.
My mom always did that. My mom would always, whenever we'd go out, we'd stop at a drive-through and get something. And I realized it's a habit. My daughter does the same thing. And I'm realizing that it's a learned behavior that I need to unlearn. And I've started doing that this last year. I said, it's okay to go back to the house without picking up something, right? And
Mhm.
so I have to continue that and recognize that that's me. I mean, the person who's going to help to hold me accountable is not the person who has to execute the accountability.
Right.
That's me. So I will have to be more accountable to the accountability. But if I
Yeah.
don't have someone who's going to help me along, if because I know if I give her pushback, then she's not going to feel supported, and we're not going to do this together. And
Right.
that's something I want to be able to hold her accountable. I don't care what type of shitty day she has when it comes to the accountability. If it's something that we say we're going to do together, then we're going to do it together. If we're not, then let me know, and I'll figure out how to do it on my own. But that's definitely something I need to do. So I think we're saying the
Uh,
same thing, but it's at the end of the
yeah.
day, I just I can't I can't be shitty to the person who's holding me accountable. I have to really understand why because I asked him to. That's my
Yeah.
accountability.
I hear that. I do. I think where my perspective and where I am my own worst enemy many times again is that I ask for the support and I get it. And then my first reaction is, yeah.
Yeah, right.
And then and again, the people I hear what you're saying, and I'm gonna have to process that a little bit and think about how to do that. It's funny because it's like for me, my first react like especially with exercise, I don't know what it is about like this. I like if I go on vacation, I'm gonna walk 30,000 steps and never think twice about it in a day. You know what I mean? I'm I park in the back. I'm naturally exercise, but I don't intentionally do it, right? And so as soon as I have it in my head that I have to exercise, I immediately don't want to do it. I become a rebellious 15-year-old. It's so stupid. And I've tried to coach around this for a long time to try to figure out why am I like this? And so I think that's what happens is when I set this intention, like, oh, I'm going to be more active, I'm going to go walk or whatever, even if it's just go walk or go to the pool or go whatever, because that's one of the things I want to get into this year is I want to do more swimming, like not just be in the pool, but like swim laps
Yeah.
and stuff. That's
Yeah.
something I want to try. Um, is that as soon as like, oh, let's go to the pool, I'm like, it's cold outside. It's too
Yeah.
hot outside. Like all of a sudden, I'm like making excuses to not do the thing I wanted to do that I really want to do, but my brain is like, whatever. So as soon as it comes out, I realize what I'm doing and I'm like, you know what, never mind. Okay, let's go. And then my husband's already in pissy mood because I just like,
Yeah.
and I was like, no, no, you don't want to go, let's not go. And then I'm like, well, then let's not go. And then before you know it, I'm on TikTok again, looking up stupid husbands because he's he's reacting to my behavior. It's a vicious cycle. And so I hear what you're saying, and I have to get out of my own way to not
Yeah.
be the barrier.
Well, I think what I'm planning to do, because we just came up with this yesterday. So we have to set ground rules and boundaries for how this is
Mhm.
going to happen. And people might think, well, why do you have to set ground rules and boundaries? It's your husband, it's your
We
wife.
have to.
Because everybody needs to know what's expected.
Right,
And the
right.
conversation is if we say we're going to the gym and I get up to get ready to go to the gym, we're going to the gym. And you're going to be pissed off at me. And I know it's not going to be because of me, it's going to be because you're tired and you don't want to go to the gym. Neither do I, but this is the
Mhm.
expectation we set for ourselves. Are we okay with that? If she says we're not okay with that, guess what? I'm planning to go to the gym by myself and I'm not bugging her. We need to have an idea of non-negotiables. If she says, yes, it's okay even if I'm pissy, cool. Then I know that when we're done, we're gonna be cool. And I know this is, it's just like breaking a habit. Shit, I've
Yeah.
I was a smoker for 25 years. I'm no longer smoking, right?
I did not know that about you. Were
Yeah,
you a smoker?
oh, off and on, but and then I did tobacco for 20 years, and then when I was
Yeah.
40, I quit, right? I played baseball, right? So, just that's
Hmm.
what you did, right? pinch between your cheek and gum and just go. And I'm lucky that I still have my front teeth because the dentist said I was supposed to lose them 2 years ago. So, um,
Wow.
yeah. So, these are things that, I know I can, if I'm intentional about it and set it. I've lost 100 pounds in my life, right? I've lost, these things like that. If I'm intentional to it and I know there's a good reason for it, I can do it. I just need to recognize if someone else is going to help me, then these are the boundaries. These are what's expected. And I'm okay now because before I'd be like, well, these are the boundaries set, but yeah, but I don't want to piss her off. I'm like I said, what we said in the last, in the last part of our episode, I need to start doing things that are for the benefit of me and start thinking about how this is affecting me in a positive way. And it's affecting our family, whether someone wants to be pissy or not. Me exercising is going to keep me around longer. I'm
Mhm.
okay with that. If they don't want to keep me around longer, well, and I'm okay with staying around longer for me, right?
Right.
Even though she does, but you know what I'm saying, right? So
Yeah, I
that's
do.
that's where I want to be. That's where I want to be. So those expectations, those boundaries, we're gonna have that conversation, and we're gonna write them out. If you don't write out your goals, only 3% of Americans have goals that are written out, which is why so many goals fail in the second week of January. You don't have them written out. You're not making a commitment to yourself, right? So out of sight, out of mind, especially at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's very easy. So, and then that question, the first step, you know, what I just said, the first step is writing out those goals, writing them out, what's going to happen, what we expect from each other, what we're going to do, what the plan is when the plan blows up, right? To have that backup plan. Um, and what's going to be the obstacles? This is a huge part. When I talk about goal setting, I always talk about what are the obstacles? What are the things that are going to get in the way of you accomplishing the goal? If you think about them ahead of time, you can also mitigate those obstacles. So if what's in ahead of time is I wake up at 3 o'clock every morning and this is my day off. I don't want to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean, I don't want to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, well, that's an obstacle. So is that something, what are you going to do to be able to adjust that? If you say that's what you want to do is exercise. And we haven't talked about exercise, but just in terms of, I want to eat when I want to eat, or I want to have a late night snack. Okay, cool. Well, what is the late night snack going to be? Not just you can't have a late night snack. What is the late night snack going to be? Right. And so having those conversations about what we can have and not have, oh, I want something sweet. Okay, babe, I'll pick you up on the way home from band practice because I've been in band practice leaving you alone. So I'm going to get you your Magnum bar. No, it's okay. So what would you like? Would you like or what do we have? You know, so just those little things like that that can be, intentional, and to write those down, to have the conversation and to have that agreement. That's my first step in accomplishing those things. And if it's for me, writing out my to-do list, writing out my plan, how I'm going to accomplish it, what are the steps I need to do? And I need to do that every day. I always say I don't do it when I'm teaching because I'm too busy teaching, but I can start every day with a plan and I can write it out the night before, even if I'm teaching from 9 to 4. There is stuff that I do in between. I do dishes, right? If I'm at home or if I'm at lunch, I'll go, if I'm out of home, I'm going to go to a place and what type of lunch am I going to have? I'm going to be intentional in where I'm going to eat, right? If I write those things out, I will follow them. If I don't write them out, it's I'm hungry. Okay, well, I'm a son of a baconator. Oh, no, no. Why am I going to get a son of the baconator? Let me get a baconator. Better yet, let me get a pretzel baconator. So
Ooh,
it just
you're making me
blows up,
hungry now.
right? I'm getting hangry. But that's when I write it out. When I know what I'm doing, I'm better. And so my first step is to write it out and make a commitment to myself. And if anybody else is joining me along in that plan or that commitment, that this is the plan that we're going to do together and we're going to hold each other accountable.
Good.
Yeah. How about you? What's your first step?
My first step is just creating the environment. Um, creating the environment to do the things that I want to do. Like having my writing space set up. Like one of the things I actually already started this. Um, in my California house, I have an office, and so it's right next to my bedroom, so I can literally walk out of my bedroom and be in my office. It's all set up. My screens are set up, my keyboard's set up, and I can just, sit in my chair and go to work. Amongst my clothes, because it's also my closet. But however, when I'm traveling, it's not as easy because then I have to like find a space. Is it going to be comfortable? And so in this Mexico house, that was like one of the things I don't have. I don't have an office here, and I haven't really had a space where I worked. I was working from the RV for a little bit, and then that was just not working for me. And so one of the things that I did, yes, not yesterday, but the day before, is I set up a little corner with a desk and my setup. So I have a keyboard, I have my laptop, I have my second screen set up where it's just there. I don't have to get ready, it's just ready. So, like, again, if I want to come and write in the morning for 30 minutes while I drink my coffee, then I can just come in here and sit down and start writing without having to pull out my laptop, plug it in, find a charger. Like I don't have to do all of that. It's just ready to go. And so for me, like writing things down and planning them is not as useful for me. I mean, like setting the intention and like thinking about it can be helpful for me. But for me, it's all about environment and what is around me because then that's that's how I behave. So, for example, we don't have TVs here. I'm going to be way more active in Mexico if I can get my phone out of my hand. And so that might be the other part of it too, is like in the morning, um, instead of the first thing I do is grab my phone off the charger and head downstairs to make my coffee while I watch TikToks, is maybe leave my phone upstairs, do my writing, and then when I'm getting ready to like jump in the shower and stuff, then I can engage with whatever's on my phone. So that's going to be my first step, is the environment, working on the environment.
Well, as an ENFP, environment is a huge
Yeah,
thing for ENFP. We're going to talk about Myers-Briggs next year too. We already talked about DISC, but we'll
yeah,
get into some MBTI. So, but yeah,
yeah.
very cool. All right. Well, we are at our last question, Tiff.
Okay,
Last question. What are you most looking forward to in 2025?
okay. I have it now. I am looking forward to mostly in 2025 of being more out of debt. Not completely out of debt, because I am going to be more out of debt because I'm not going to be spending anymore. I like this last year I focused a lot on like student loans, and so I paid off 4 student loans. I only have 3 left, which I'm really excited about. Um, but I am really focused on getting out of debt this year, and the more I can be debt free, the easier it will be for me to be able to have that work life balance I'm really, really trying to find, where I will make enough to survive, um, but live within my means, to where I don't have any debt. That's my plan. So I'll be in a much better spot. I'm not in a bad spot now, but I'm going to be in a much better place come the end of this year for sure.
Me
A
too.
few
Yeah, that's
Ulta might go out of business. Yeah, Ulta might go out of business. Costco might have a rough third quarter because of my lack of spending, but
By the way,
sorry.
my second favorite thing this year was that Ulta commercial. Did we just become best friends? Da, 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 da. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, don't judge me. I don't care. I'm still a
I'm
man.
not
Thank you.
judging.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
not judging, but yeah,
Right. I
that's
was talking
that's
about
that's what I'm most
all
looking
the
forward
men,
to.
all our men, our male audience really like the Ulta commercial. Yeah, I like that Ulta commercial. That's a cool song. So what I'm looking most forward to is very similar to you, right? I really this year I want my money to work for me, right? I've been working to pay off stuff and been very reactionary with my debts, my taxes, and all those other things like that. And so now I'm at the point now where I think I can start being more proactive with what it is I'm doing with my money and to take care of that. Um, and then there's a bunch of other things. I mean, my daughter's graduating from college this year,
That's
you
awesome.
know. I want to get that ACC. The new season of the challenge is starting January 26th, right? And so, those things are definitely there. But I'm definitely looking forward to uh being I think this is the first year where I feel like I'm really turning the corner, being in control of what it is I'm doing and not being reactionary. So I think that's a blessing, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it works for me, and my life and my health and my wellness and my family and in this podcast. So
That's right.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what's happening next year. Maybe we'll have some guests. Um,
Yes.
if anybody has an idea on guests they want to see, right? Just holler. We'll be more active on the grams and the Facebooks
Not the
and those things
TikToks
like
though.
that. Not the TikToks, no.
Not the
But
TikToks.
we'll see. We'll see. But all right. Anything else you want to add, Tiff, before we sign off for the year?
I just want to thank you, Carl, for making this happen. Again, I know we talked about it for so long, and I really do appreciate the opportunity to, take our little bit of life experience that we have and share it with the masses. I mean, we may not help everybody, but if there's, again, one person who gets something from listening to us, then I think it's worth our time and effort and energy. And I know that um, I care a lot about making a difference, and I know you care a lot about making a difference. And so I hope that we continue to do that in 2025, and we continue to expand our own knowledge and experience and be able to share that with everybody. And, we would love for you to share your knowledge and experience with us too. So, I appreciate you, Carl. It's been a good
Appreciate
year.
you, too. Absolutely. It was a very good year, and I'm looking forward to the next year. We will be as regular as we can. That's one thing, to write out intentionalities is we need to figure out our schedule now because shit will get thick. So, yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right,
that's for sure.
everyone. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year to you, Tiff. Happy New Year to the Salcedo family, the residents. Hope your mom is enjoying Mexico.
She's back
And
in Oregon. She's
oh,
back.
oh wow.
She wasn't about this life.
Okay, well, that's all right. Hey, it's cold. It's cold in Oregon. She can go hang out with Garden Answers lady who
That's
talks like
right.
this all
That's
the time.
right.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, until we see you next year. Don't worry, next year is just next week, so relax, right? But until then,
We'll
I'm
see.
Carl,
I'm Tiff.
and keep it real.